This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
You're welcome back into the conversation. It is still Tech Now right here on your Beyond the News station, Radio Now 95.3 FM. We turn to our conversation which is planned for you today. The world's largest cable project landed in Akwa Ibom and Lagos states in February. Now, it's known as the Two Africa Submarine Cable. The project spans 45,000 kilometers and connects Nigeria to Europe, Asia, and other parts of Africa through the Atlantic Ocean. The project is funded by a consortium of telecommunications companies, including Meta. On Tech Now today, we discuss the importance of this project and what it means for ICT in Nigeria and Africa at large. Our guest on this conversation is Ade Atobatele. Mr. Atobatele is the CEO at Remarkable Ideas Limited. Mr. Atobatele, good morning and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
To begin with, what is your reaction to this cable arriving in Nigeria?
It's a great idea. It means that we don't have to backhaul cable bandwidth from the Lagos landing point or the other landing points down to the southeast. The nearer that we can get to the people with the actual broadband, the better. So now all we have to do is take that up to the north from there, and that sector will have its own massive bandwidth. We have a lot of bandwidth in Nigeria, but the problem is getting it from the coastal areas into the hinterland.
So I actually want to take you back a moment to just talk about what the Two Africa subsea cable actually is.
It's broadband. It's bandwidth.
I mean, you say that,
It's competing with Starlink.
Yeah,
what can I say?
So no, I need us to simplify this a lot more, because you say it and all I'm thinking is, as a regular Nigerian, I don't even know what Starlink is, and I might have heard it and seen the price and run away very quickly compared to my regular mobile providers.
To get to the internet, it's like a water pipe. The water has to come from somewhere. So basically, the internet in Nigeria comes from somewhere, and we consume it and send some of it back. So this cable is bringing us the internet equivalent of water. And of course, you wouldn't want to have to lay a pipe from Lagos to take your water all the way down to Enugu if somebody was going to give you a pipe that came out of the sea that was nearer. So basically, this means that you don't have to lay those pipes from far away places to where you are. So the pipe is basically nearer to the people in the southeast. And the only point I was mentioning before is that now that it's in the southeast, the people that are nearer to the southeast, that are in that northern part, can also benefit. I mean, you imagine having to take the cable from all the way from Lagos to Bauchi. A bit of a thing. It's a lot easier if you're going up from Enugu and places like that. So the nearer that we can have these subsea cables land to be able to take them into the hinterland, the better.
So does this mean that my village somewhere in Abia State will probably have better internet connectivity than, me living in the mega city that is Lagos?
It will have not so much better. It will most probably have cheaper. There is no such thing as better. Once a cable gets to where you are, the internet is the internet. But if you don't have to run it through lots and lots of cables, then there's a lot of infrastructure that you don't have to put down. And the infrastructure is always cost. So the nearer you are to the source, the better it is for you. So yes, if your village is nearer to the coastal part of where it came down, then you are likely to get cheaper internet.
So I'm trying to think about how it works. Is this something that you subscribe to, much like Nigerians do with Starlink, or is it something that, say, some of our telecoms providers would subscribe to, and as such, Nigerians just use the existing systems that they have, or is this a direct thing? I don't know. Explain to us how it works.
Think of it like a tanker. Our oil comes from a refinery somewhere outside Nigeria, but of course, your car can't get into the ship. So the ship docks, it puts it into a tanker. The tanker fills up another tanker that is on wheels. The tanker then takes that tanker to a petrol station, and you go into the petrol station and you buy retail. It's the same stuff that came in through the ship originally, but has now gone through a storage tank and has now gone through a 40-foot tanker to get to you. So yes, you won't be able to get the bandwidth directly, but there will be providers that will be able to provide you with that bandwidth locally.
So we've seen, I guess this was just last week, we saw one of the major as a matter of fact, not even one. We saw quite a number of the telecommunications providers in Nigeria experience some downtime. And it goes back to previous days or weeks or months when we've seen reduction in the quality of internet, as well as, an increase in the prices of the internet. Now, you said that this cable makes it cheaper for those who are closer to it. But I want to understand if there is an added benefit to, say, businesses and those pursuing, I think the next best thing is education as far as Nigeria is concerned.
It's like the electricity that has come to Aba. If you don't have to pull the electricity all the way from Kanji Dam, it's nearer to you. And if it's nearer to you, then you most probably can purchase it retail cheaper. It's really the same thing. All these infrastructural things benefit you when you get nearer to them, because there are more people that can retail them locally, and they don't have to be backhauled all across the country, having degradation, having cost, and all of those sort of things. That's really the benefit. We have an excess of amount of bandwidth in Nigeria, but it's all in the coastal regions. As I said, the real benefit here is that apart from where it's landed in Enugu or wherever it is, there are other places that are not that far from there that will also be able to benefit, because the backhaul is now maybe just 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers, as opposed to 500 or 600 kilometers that it has been before. That's where the real benefit comes.
So speak to us about how you expect this to change the game for existing providers. How do you expect them to react?
Well, if I was them, I would be clamoring on whoever owns the broadband pipe to connect me to it, so that I could sell retail. If I was an ISP, I would be looking to tap into that broadband and be able to sell internet to local people. TXC and people like that will benefit greatly from being able to have a strong bandwidth in areas like that. Remember, most of us get our internet these days from phones. Now there's Starlink, but that is not the only way that we have been able to get internet. There are still ISPs that sell internet directly, and those ones are the ones that are really going to benefit. People like MTN and Airtel and all that, they already have pipes that move their broadband to where they need it to be. As I said, the only other benefit is that people like the NCC have a fund that says internet should be everywhere. So they subsidize the cost of you getting that internet in the rural areas. The smaller the subsidy, the more likely that you're going to get it. So if it's nearer and the subsidy to get it to you 50 kilometers down the road is rather inconsequential, then I would imagine that those people would be clamoring to get that internet into their areas. And as I said, once we have infrastructural benefits, the whole environment benefits, whether they're roads or whether they're communications or whether they're water or anything else.
Well, I think it's probably a good time to gloat that my village is just a little over 151 kilometers away from this cable. So,
well, you have no reason whatsoever not to go and find the people to drag it into your village and turn your village into a cosmopolitan area. Then again, maybe you don't want to turn it into a cosmopolitan area, and you still want to have your village mansion and not have too many people come and visit.
Ade, I would also inform you that my village has 24 hours light, so be careful how you chat to me.
You see?
You know what? At this point, we're going to tell Stephen goodbye as he relocates to his
I've told
village.
people that we're all moving to these places where they have 24 light and 24 internet and everything. We're all moving down there soon. Don't worry.
I'm
we're all
Coco
coming.
telling both of you a safe journey and a goodbye.
Ade, thank you. Mr. Atobatele, thank you
too.
very much for speaking with us this morning on this conversation.
Speaking to you too.
Our conversation was with Ade Atobatele, the CEO at Remarkable Ideas Limited, and we were talking about the arrival of the world's largest cable project, which has landed in Nigeria, specifically Akwa Ibom and Lagos State. It landed last month, and it looks like cheaper internet might be on the cards for people who live, as Ade has pointed out, very close to the places where this cable is available. We'll bring you another conversation next time around on Tech Now. As always, we ask that you keep your radio locked onto this dial, Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.